Blackstone Audio presents Valley of Dry Bones, a Medieval Mystery by Priscilla Royal. The hand of the Lord was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord God, thou knowest. Ezekiel chapter 37, verses 1 to 3, King James Version. Chapter 1. The late afternoon heat settled heavily on Prioress Eleanor. Sweat wiggled down her spine, making her itch, as if some impudent crawling thing were caught beneath her habit. Now her arm grew numb from holding her staff of office. Surely it should not take this long for the party from Edward's Queen to enter the Priory gates. Their messenger had arrived just after the last office. Was it not almost time for the bells to announce the next? Beside her, Prior Andrew eased his weight to his other foot. Her glance caught his brief grimace. "Does your leg trouble you?" "It is nothing more than a man's impatience to be busy, my lady. I'm not accustomed to standing still this long." She nodded in response, knowing he had lied, but letting him keep his pride. Her prior was a good man. His attempted deception was innocent enough. "Queen Eleanor honours Tyndal Priory by suggesting she might stop here on her pilgrimage route." The prior clasped his hands in a prayerful gesture. The whiteness of his knuckles betrayed the pain he was suffering. "We received the news of her great favour with much joy." Eleanor chose to reply, as if this visit were a certainty, although she knew there was a possibility that the event might never come to pass. Even if it did, Edward's wife could have some troubling reason for coming here. Honour never came without cost. Since the prioress could think of no reason why Tyndal might already have earned the boon, she concluded that any price must be paid in the future. A shout from a lay brother standing at the open gates interrupted her worries before they became weightier. Great clouds of tan dust billowed above the grey stones of the priory walls. The neighing of horses and rumble of carts on the rutted road from the west were unmistakable. "At last," Eleanor thought, and gripped her crozier more firmly. Her hand slipped, and she almost dropped the staff. That was not a good omen. She clenched her teeth, and her heart pounded with apprehension. Then she looked at those clustered nearby. From their expression, she suspected any misgivings were hers alone. Standing to her left, Sister Ruth was red-faced and sweating from the heat, while her square face bore an especially beatific expression. Such a worshipful look would be greeted with favour by those accustomed to the ways of a king's court. Although the sub-prioress often tried Eleanor's patience, the woman was far more capable than she of conveying heartfelt flattery, a skill that sometimes allowed the prioress to avoid attempting her own less convincing performance. Next to the sub-prioress stood Sister Christina, infirmarian of Tyndal's well-regarded hospital. The nun had prayerfully bowed her head, a sincere gesture, as well as wise, since her weak eyes often made her seem oblivious to anything around her. Even those of high secular rank who might otherwise demand rapt attention would never dare to find insult in such splendid faith. "The envoys arrive," Eleanor said. With grim resolve she tried to emulate the calm of those surrounding her. The religious grew quiet with anticipation. "They're accompanied by a large armed guard." Prior Andrew shaded his eyes and stared at the dust clouds. "Let us hope they are not too numerous to accommodate." The prioress glanced at his tensed features and hoped she might find cause to release him from further attendance. During this very long wait they'd all suffered from the oppressive summer heat. When the ritual courtesies were finished, Eleanor planned to dismiss the majority so they could find refuge in the relative cool of the priory buildings. "I have prepared for that likelihood," Sister Ruth hissed. "Nor did I doubt that you had," Eleanor replied. Whatever faults her sub-prioress possessed, the failure to plan carefully for the comfort of high-ranking guests was not one of them. The prioress looked again at her prior, and regretfully concluded that he must stay a while longer than the others. Although she was the unquestioned leader of both monks and nuns in this Fontrevaudine priory, the presence of masculine authority was expected.